What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitico Response. We cover political news, keep you up to date, and keep you informed with everything that the government does. And as you can see, I finally made it, y'all. I'm on vacation, for goodness sakes. Check this out. Okay, yeah, so I finally made it, right? And as I'm on the plane coming out here to Tampa, Florida, we get the news. Trump's guilty. Kind of not really a surprise. You kind of know that it was a skewed trial anyway, but, you know, that's not what we're talking about today. We talked about that damn Trump trial so damn much, I got sick and tired of talking about it. But I read this article earlier today that the corporate press loves to lie, and I love to point out when the corporate press lies, so I've got to point it out. So let's get into it right quick, y'all. Check this out. Trump delivers rambling response to conviction in hush money trial. Now, this really ain't about the hush money trial. It's more or less about the corporate press lying. It does have a little bit to do with the hush money trial, but we're not really going to get into details on all this. So let's get into it, though. Check it. These people just love to lie. I just don't understand why they think they can lie and just get away with it, as if nobody's going to point out their lies. It's crazy to me. A day after a New York jury delivered a historic guilty verdict in Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee held a press conference Friday where he spoke publicly about the conviction and his White House bid. Following his conviction on Thursday, Trump had angrily denounced the trial as a disgrace, telling reporters he was an innocent man. And hey, I believe that too. I don't think he instructed Michael Cohen to illegally falsify business records to cover up something that was not a crime. But I'm just a logical person. What do I know, right? This is where it gets interesting. Calls for Bragg to appear before committee. Yes, thank you, Jim Jordan, for getting involved. House Republicans announced Friday that they will demand that Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg and Matthew Coangelo, the lead investigator of the Donald Trump hush money case, appear before lawmakers next month. Now, remember the name Matthew Coangelo. This was a previous Biden administration. As a matter of fact, he worked at the DOJ. He was a prosecutor. He was actually third in line under Merrick Garland, so just remember that for later reference. Rep. Jim Jordan said that the House Select Committee on Weaponization will host a hearing with the two witnesses on June 13th. Jordan, one of Trump's closest allies in Congress, had previously opened an investigation into Bragg and his case against the former president. He and other lawmakers also traveled to New York in April 2023 for a hearing on the prosecution's case. Lie. That is not true. They went to New York for a hearing on crime in New York. It had nothing to do with Trump's hush money case. Had zero to do with that. As a matter of fact, if you go look up that committee hearing, they don't mention that even in opening arguments, opening statements, none of that. They don't mention Trump's hush money trial at all. At least I don't recall them mentioning it at all, and I watched that hearing, so, which, if I remember correctly, the sound was all jacked up, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. Trump, we're living in a fascist state. Yes, he's right. Donald Trump circled back on Friday to a lot of the same authoritarian themes as he repeatedly focused on in speeches and rallies, painting the U.S. under President Joe Biden as corrupt and a fascist nation. Like I always point out, rule by decree. This guy has made so many executive orders and rule changes, trying to force companies to change their rules, like trying to force auto manufacturers to stop producing internal combustion engine vehicles and only produce electric vehicles. Now they're threatening to shut down coal-fired power plants if they don't install technology that's not even fully developed yet. It's just insane. And there's a whole litany of things that we could go through that the Biden administration rules and all this other stuff that just some of it just can't be done. Some of it is very fascist. It's very authoritarian, if you will. It's all BS. He called the committee that investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol thugs, and also called Biden a Manchurian candidate, a phrase implying the president is corrupt and being used as a puppet by a political enemy. They're destroying our country, Trump said. We're living in a fascist state. Trump spoke for 33 minutes. He's largely been off the campaign trail, but Donald Trump's post-trial remarks served as a condensed version of many of the themes he traditionally hits during his rally speeches. And I've mentioned this before in previous videos, that they're saying, oh, look, Biden's out here on the campaign doing everything he's campaigning like a real president should be. And where is Donald Trump? He's in the courtroom. Yes, because this corrupt justice system under the Biden administration has put him there, wrongfully, by the way, so he can't be on the campaign trail. Judge Juan Merchan forced Trump to be in the courthouse every single day, except on Wednesdays, because they didn't have court on Wednesdays. It's just outright BS, right? Like, the judge does this, and then the left, the Democrats and Joe Biden, they just pick up on that. Oh, Donald Trump's not campaigning. He must not care about his people. It's all absolute BS. It's all meant to twist reality around, to push reality in their favor when they don't have reality, facts, and logic on their side whatsoever. It's all just a bunch of garbage. Deviating from his vow to appeal the hush money verdict and characterization of the trial as a scam, Trump also repeatedly went after President Joe Biden for failures on border security and record levels of terrorists who come into our country. And he's totally right. Joe Biden has flung the doors open on the damn border and has just allowed millions of people to come in. So naturally, some of that, statistically, as a matter of fact, some of those people are going to be terrorists, because terrorists want to come to this country. They want another 9/11, and Joe Biden is facilitating that by not stopping and vetting these people. He doesn't vet these people whatsoever. That's not even to mention some of the drugs that are coming across that southern border. And I know they're not all coming just through criminal aliens that come across that border. They have tunnels and all this other stuff, but some of those drugs do come with those criminal aliens, and as a matter of fact, they are trafficking humans, putting women and children into sex trafficking rings, and all this other BS. It's just outright evil, in my opinion, wrong, and he shouldn't be doing it. He should stop it. And for why he's wanting to continue to do this, knowing that it's damaging the country, is well beyond my ability to understand, because the way I see it, he could easily shut all this down. We could stop having a border crisis tomorrow. If Biden really wanted to stop it, he could, absolutely. But will he? No. And for what reason? I still have no idea. I can't figure out why, except for a soft power grab, if you will, because he knows criminal aliens get counted on the census, and they are being shipped to sanctuary states, right, where it's Democrat states. So they're going to get counted on the census, and eventually that will derive more power for the Democrats. That's the only reason I can see. And that's a very dirty, underhanded reason to do something like that, to destroy cities, destroy people's lives. I mean, look at what Laken Riley had to go through. She's dead now. Look at what her family's going through, by the way. Yeah. That's what Joe Biden is doing, just for power. That's why I say Joe Biden is destroying this country, and he is evil in that respect. Here we go, though. He also falsely claimed that tens of thousands of military-aged Chinese men have recently come into the U.S. looking like perfect soldiers. He falsely claims that, huh? That's interesting. I don't think I need to say anything else. Since late 2022, when China's 3-year COVID-19 lockdown began to lift, the U.S. has seen a sharp rise in the number of Chinese migrants. But there has been no evidence that they have tried to mount a military force or training network. You see, you love what the corporate press does. They take a statement from Trump and then they twist it around. That is called a straw man. Nobody is arguing that the Chinese military is building up forces in the United States through criminal aliens. Nobody's arguing that at all. He's just saying they're military-aged men looking like a damn military force, like perfect soldiers, because that's what it appears to be, because the vast majority of these people are military-aged men. Yeah, sure, there's women and children, of course. But the corporate press is trying to make you think that Trump is actually saying that it's the Chinese military doing this. Once again, pointing out the lies of the corporate press. You got to watch these people, man. These people are just insane. sane with their lies and how they think they can just get away with it. As is standard at his rallies, Trump also appealed to supporters to contribute financially to his campaign. Trump criticizes committee probing Capitol assault. As he characterized what he sees as a failing country, Donald Trump on Friday also briefly harkened back to the January 6, 2021, and what he said are false accusations that are at the center of another case against him. He leveled specific critiques toward members of Congress who held committee hearings probing the Capitol assault. Trump also denied that he had tried to physically direct a Secret Service agent to drive him to the Capitol, which was part of testimony before the Select Committee. Yes, and that was quite the insane testimony, considering that is pretty much an impossibility. Yeah, he was riding in the beast. There is a blast shield protecting Donald Trump, so there was absolutely no way he could reach forward to grab the steering wheel and turn it. It was an insane lie, and all the Democrats, they just nodded along like, oh my God, I can't believe he did this. Lying to the American people. It's just outright utter nonsense, if you will. Utter bullshit. I'll say it. Screw it. I don't care. It's bullshit. He further called former GOP Rep. Adam Kinzinger among his critics the most emotional man I think I've ever seen. Wow. Trump lights into Biden. Donald Trump called President Joe Biden the worst president in the history of our country during a press conference late Thursday morning. He further labeled him as the most incompetent and most dishonest. Yeah, I would have to agree with that assessment. Joe Biden most definitely is incompetent. Just look at what they did with Afghanistan. Look at what they're doing with the border. Look at what they did to not stop inflation from jumping way up to 9%. Yeah, they could have done something, but they did absolutely nothing to stop that. As a matter of fact, for Afghanistan, there was plans in place to get us out of Afghanistan. They were supposed to go to stay at that air base instead of going to that other airport, but they didn't do that. It just shows the utter incompetence of the Biden administration. You take a look at the ways he treats China, Russia, so many others, Trump said. He's a very big danger to our country. I agree. Trump cites high New York crime rate data says otherwise. Does it, though? At a press conference on Friday, former President Donald Trump said Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg should be looking at crime, saying it is rampant in New York City at levels no one has ever seen before. Yeah, he's being hyperbolic there. Of course, it's not at levels no one's ever seen before, but it is a lot higher. But check this out, what the corporate press does here. He cited a man being stabbed by a machete in Times Square on Thursday. However, crime in New York City is nowhere near the levels seen in the 1990s. The latest crime data from the NYPD shows major crime reports are down this year compared to the same period last year. Through the first week in May, the number of murders was down more than 15%. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. From the same period last year, and down 26% from 2021. Yeah, but it's still high. And they're trying to tell you, oh no, everything's fine. Crime's not high whatsoever. But then if crime is not high whatsoever, then how come the governor of New York had to call in the National Guard to go and patrol the subway system because of crime? You see what the corporate press does? These people are just BS liars. And it pisses me off because you don't have to lie. But they're lying because it's Trump saying this, and they have to counter everything the Donald Trump says. It's like, why? Why lie? Why not just say, yeah, Trump is correct here? Like, why just say, no, he's wrong, and then leave out critical context that will prove his case? Sure, it may not be at record levels it's ever been. Of course, they don't understand hyperbole, obviously, because they can't seem to understand that Trump was just saying that crime is much higher now than it has been in decades, because the 90s was over 3 decades ago. So, yeah, decades, the last 2 decades, as a matter of fact. Hang on. I'm sorry, y'all. This is my little buddy. This is Saint. Say hello, Saint. You want to talk some shit to the camera? He's aggravating me right now. All right, buddy. I'll be done in a second. But instead of going along with it, they just lie. Like, why go to a lie? Why not just say, no, it's not at record levels. Crime is higher than it has been in a while, though. Like, just leaving out this BS, it just pisses me off because they have to just counter, because it's Donald Trump, like I said. Trump repeats false claims. Here we go. Donald Trump incorrectly stated during a news conference that the New York prosecutors who charged him in his criminal trial were not allowed to look into alleged federal campaign finance violations. Now, this is where we're talking about that prosecutor from earlier, Matthew Coangelo. Manhattan prosecutors didn't charge Trump with federal violations. That's not allowed. But they listed the allegations as one of 3 unlawful acts that jurors were asked to consider as they weighed the charges. That's just insane, right? Like, just convict him on one of these. It doesn't matter which one. Huh? Well, you're not charging him with all of those. You're charging him with falsifying business records. And it's being elevated to a felony because of some unknown crime that could be one of these 3. And he told jurors to pick. And you don't have to be unanimous on which one that is. Yeah, if this isn't a corrupt, some sort of kangaroo BS court, I don't know what is, y'all. But that's not even the best of it. To convict Trump, jurors had to find that not only did he falsify business records, but also that he did so to commit or conceal another crime. And as I've stated before, none of those other things were crimes. Prosecutors said the other crime was a violation of state election law, barring conspiracies to promote or prevent an election by unlawful means. Jurors then had 3 alleged unlawful means to choose from. One of them involved federal campaign finance law. What the f***? So they just go ahead and make a claim, and then in that same claim, they debunk their own claim, letting you know that the corporate press is nothing but a bunch of liars. It's just funny. It's like the most intense game of beat around the bush that they could play. Sure, they can't charge him with federal crimes, right? But then one of the underlying crimes is a federal crime, and they could also choose, it's like a multiple choice here. A, B, or C. Pick one. It doesn't matter which one. Doesn't matter if he committed those crimes or not. Just pick one and find him guilty. Please. That's what we're begging you to do, and that's exactly what these people did. And it's just insane. I can't believe. And then the corporate press coming out and saying all this, debunking their own lie. It's like, what? Why? Why do they have to lie so much? Why can't they just tell the American people the truth? It boggles my mind. The lengths that the corporate press will go to falsify information to try to make it appear legit when it's actually BS, when they're lying, just outright lying. It pisses me off like nothing else. But that was all to that story, and I think I've rambled on for long enough on this video. I'm about to get back to vacationing, so I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Do y'all find the corporate press lies to be just ridiculous, and maybe is a reason as to why their ratings are plummeting? Yeah, could be. I don't know. Maybe the people realize that they're being lied to, and they don't like being lied to. So maybe the corporate press should stop lying to everybody so much. But, far be it from me to tell the corporate press what to do. But I want y'all to let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.